Hey, Gator Nation. Welcome back to the Respect Our Decision podcast. This is the Thanksgiving edition of the ROD podcast. Guys, as always, I'm your boy Hirsch. With me, CJ the Man McCann.
What's up, guys?
And the still hanging on to a little bit of his hype, man, our man Wes,
The West Man hype.
the West hype man. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna get through this Tourette's for you real quick and this stuttering Stanley thing I got going on. Guys, as always, make sure you go out, download us wherever you get your podcast from. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel, you're checking us out, this is your first time, and you're like, man, I don't know if I want to subscribe to this channel. This guy can't speak straight to save his damn life. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to get it together for you. I promise. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, drop a like. And guys, in the comments down below, give us your favorite go-to side item for Thanksgiving, whether it be mac and cheese, sweet potato casserole, whatever it is, man, green bean casserole. I hope it ain't that. I think it's gross, but that's just me. But like I said, drop your go-to in the comments below. We'll give them a big like. All right, boys. We're gonna do things a little different this week, guys. This is gonna be the like we said, this is the Thanksgiving edition of the podcast, and we're gonna get together tonight, and we're gonna talk about things that we're thankful for. We know last week's episode was kind of somber, was a little gloomy. But man, I know that's where we are. I mean, we've never been guys that are just going to sit here and sunshine pump through the podcast and give y'all a bunch of, it's going to be okay. Yeah. We've preached patience, and we had patience, and we still have patience for certain situations, but we do want to be thankful for things too, because, we still get enjoyment from the Florida Gators, from recruiting, from all of that, even though we get frustrated and we get mad, we get on Twitter and we fire the whole staff, and then we bring them back the next day. And, but we're going to talk a little bit about recruiting first before we get to that. We're going to talk about, we got some visits. As far as the DJ Lagway watch, we do it every week. DJ's team advanced one more week in the playoffs. DJ had another big weekend. They are playing DeSoto High School this weekend. DeSoto is ranked number 7 nationally. So this is going to be a huge, huge game to show what DJ can do on what will be an absolute, I'm not going to say national stage, but it kind of is when you're playing a nationally ranked team. They will be playing that game in San Antonio on Friday night. I do not yet know where it will be streaming, but I would assume, given such a large matchup against such a big-time opponent, that this game will be streaming somewhere. Last week's game, I couldn't find it anywhere. So be on the lookout for our social media accounts. If we find the link for that game, we will post it on our account. So if you'd like to, on Friday, you're eating some leftovers, hanging around, you don't feel like doing anything, you're in a food coma, and you want to watch DJ Lagway play, by all means. Now, the downside to that is it doesn't look like DJ will be able to make it to this game Saturday. And the reason being that is they're in San Antonio. He's got to come all the way back to Willis, get on a plane early the next. It's just a lot for the family. According to his dad, they were still trying to work out maybe logistics to see if it could happen. And I'm not going to say it's 100% he's not going to show, but it doesn't look real good for that right now. And it sucks, man, because there's going to be a lot of kids there. Over 125 kids visiting this weekend between 2024, 2025, 2026. Just some highlight names. I mean, commitments. DJ's still, like I said, it's still up in the air. But Darius Hayes, Miles Graham, Aaron Childs is going to be here. I think this might be Childs' first visit since his commitment back in the summer. So that's good. Josiah Davis, Xavier Filsamy will be there. He took a midweek visit to Texas this week, guys. So, it's something to keep an eye on. You got to get him back on campus, though. Keep letting him know it's home. He says he's firm. Obviously we know how this stuff goes. Teddy Foster, Kendall Jackson, LJ McCray is going to come, and his buddy Xavier Mincy is going to come with him. That's a huge visit to get Xavier on campus one more time, as you're trying to close out for that signature from him. TJ Abrams, Isaiah Williams, Amir Jackson, and Marcus Mescal will all be there. So a lot of the commitments will be on campus. That's a great thing. Amaris Williams will not be able to make it to this game. I know we have a lot of concern about that young man right now, flirting with Ohio State and whatnot. He's got a playoff game this weekend as well, which is prohibiting him, from being able to be at the game. Some other 2024 commits that we want to talk about real quick. I already mentioned Xavier Mincy, but Gregory Smith, safety prospect that we're still recruiting heavily. Kewan Lacey, running back previously committed to Nebraska, will be visiting. It's getting a lot of favoritism towards Alabama right now, but we're trying to add a second back to this class. They're very high on Kewan Lacey. Jameer Grimsley is supposed to be at the game, Alabama commit, as we continue to try to recruit and possibly flip that young man. I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't see it happening at this point in time. He wanted to see the Gators have a winning record this year. And CJ has mentioned this many times. The kid values wins over money and things like that. And you got to respect that, man. I have no problem with the kid wanting to go somewhere where he knows he's going to get developed. He knows who his staff's going to be. He knows they're going to win football games. In this day and age, I respect that. Dalen Evans, defensive line prospect, currently committed to Texas A&M, making another visit to Gainesville. I think this is a kid now that we do need to be on the watch for. He's made several visits. He doesn't have a coach to hold his commitment in place right now at Texas A&M. So, and we could use him to supplement some of the losses we've had on the defensive line with recruiting. And finally, everybody's favorite 2024 recruit who likes to come to every week and get us in a stir, Jeremiah Smith, will be at the game. Yay! I'm officially off the being excited about Jeremiah Smith visiting. And if you want to believe Twitter rumors right now, he may be visiting more to see Florida State than he is Florida. But we'll see what happens. Guys, anything that sticks out to you about the recruiting list this weekend as we get, as this is our last game, last chance to impress recruits in a game setting? CJ.
I'm glad to have Aaron Childs back. I like Aaron Childs a lot.
Yes, sir.
He's kind of the forgotten man in the linebacker room that we've got committed, but he might be probably the second best pure linebacker we've got committed. I mean, Miles Graham
Behind
obviously
Miles.
is number one, but Aaron Childs is, yeah, but as far as an actual linebacker,
Yeah.
Childs is probably the second best, and it's close. I think he's
because
a
Hayes
good
could
player.
Hayes could end up being an edge type when it's all said and done. I understand what you mean by that.
Right, yeah, that's the worry with Hayes is being like an edge, kind of guy, that tweener that we're worried about. But I think Adarius Hayes could definitely develop. He's kind of guy that you definitely take a chance with developing him into a true linebacker. It's just hard because in high school ball, you don't have a lot of teams that have true linebackers anymore. The way defenses go and how these guys play it now. A lot of them are just there to rush the quarterback. A lot of high schools just run a lot more than they throw. That's just how high school football works. You got a lot of running teams, and they play a lot of run. They play a lot of get to the backfield. So, yeah, but no, I think that's the one that sticks out to me. It's just glad to have Aaron Childs back. Q and Lacey, you'd like to have him in the running back class. I think the Gators have made progress with Baugh as well. If he doesn't work out, a lot of love for Q and Lacey to go to Alabama right now. And again, I don't blame him. You look at their list of running backs and who they've produced. It's hard to tell Nick Saban, no, I don't want to come be your running back. So we'll see what happens. You get the kids on campus; they can change their mind. You can convince them. They get excited. They get caught up in a moment. It is what it is. It's what you do. But that's great. And DJ again, I wouldn't worry about DJ. Just I mean, that's a long trip. DJ's been here enough to have residence in Gainesville at this point. He's been here a ton this year. So.
And they've turned around and made trips on little notice a lot of times.
Right. And so I totally understand it with the game he's got going into. It's a massive game against a very good football team. So, yeah, just good to have all these guys here. It's the last home game of the season. It might be your last game of the season. So, definitely just go ahead and get this thing going, get the ball rolling, and we'll find out where we stand after Saturday.
Yeah, and as far as Lacey goes, you just said it, man. If Nick Saban wants you in his running back room, that speaks highly of the evaluation for that young man. So I'd really like to see us put some pressure on that kid and see if we get him in the class. Wes, what are your thoughts about this being the last, obviously game setting that these kids come to this year?
I love it. I'll speak about one commit that, and the reason I speak about it because we lost Waller from out of Auburn. I mean, from out of to Auburn, from out of Alabama, is the kid Daylon Evans. You mentioned it that Texas A&M is has fired Jimbo, so he don't really have a coach. He was a guy rumored early that we were supposed to flip ever since like June, July, August. Like, hey, is he gonna flip? Is he on flip watch? We kept talking about him. It was a lot of chatter about him. This may be the prime opportunity for us to go ahead and get that flip. We're going to get it with him coming in. Like I said, replacing Waller will be a huge asset to getting us back on the right ship. As far as we had the three commitments that we lost a week ago. I would love to have him in this class. He kind of flirted with us, as I spoke about, and the rumors that we kind of had him in the fold, and we kind of got to the point where we didn't need him anymore. We I don't want to say we kind of like need him now, but we lost kind of two D linemen last week. So I would love to get Evans in his class. And then try to get him in the fold. I love the commits that are coming out to see the game. We have a lot of 25 and 26 guys coming out. It's a 7 o'clock game, so it's going to be at night. It's against a rival, and I can imagine the Swamp. It's going to be electric. You want to get a chance to upset a top 5 team in the country, knock Florida State out of the playoffs. So they're going to be fired up. So the kids get to experience that and see how loud it's going to be, like in that atmosphere. So I love what we're going to be showing.
Yeah, I'm not going to really dive into the 25, 26 recruits that are coming now. Right now, I mean, Waltez Carr, running back commit's going to be there. Vernell Brown the third is going to be there. I mean, you're going to have a lot of kids there, and all the list of people that are coming have not even been released yet. But right now, I'd really, obviously, if you're recruiting staff, you're always putting emphasis on the 25 kids in the 26 class. But I really want to see the staff buckle down on these last few spots for 24 and get that sewn up, because you've also, in another week or so here, in a couple of weeks, you've got the portal is about to open up, and you need to be asking some of these kids, look, we need a decision. We need to know, because we need to know how many roster spots we're dealing with here as far as what we really need to be targeting numbers wise in the portal. Hey, if you're not coming, what it is, but we need to know, because we need to go after a position that you may be, we need to go after a cornerback. We need to go after a defensive tackle in the portal. And it's that
Exactly.
time of year, man. It's going to be, it's balls to the wall. It's got to be
Pause.
busy time. Yeah. Pause. But so that's where we are with recruiting visits this weekend. It should be an electric atmosphere, like Wes said. I mean, the Swamp, Florida State, night game, last game of the season. Anything that can happen will happen. We know how that rolls. So hopefully, these kids see a raucous environment and they get caught up in it and they really like what we got going on. And hopefully the Gators pull out a W for them and spoil Florida State's playoff dreams. Hate that it has to be done under the circumstances it's done. Want to send all our get well wishes to Jordan Travis. I hated for that kid. He came back. He's worked his tail off. I'm not going to go give Florida State too much love, but I will always respect good kids that are, putting a lot of time and work into their craft and haven't given you any reason whatsoever to ever dislike them. There's no, you're never going to wish injury or hope for anything like that to happen. Hopefully the young man gets well soon and he's ready to go before the combine gets here. But if it means we can also take down Florida State in the process, then hey, that would be a great way to end this season. It'd be a great note to end it on after we fell short against Missouri. And it's a heartbreaking game, and we're not going to spend any time dwelling on that. It is what it is. Y'all all saw it. Y'all know what happened. Y'all know we're at. Graham Mertz is gone now for the season with the broken clavicle, and that goes into our next segment about the things we're thankful for as far as the Florida Gators in this season go. And I think we can all speak to the fact that we're very thankful for Graham Mertz and the effort that he gave this season and the time and effort into learning the offense, to learning his players, the players around him. You know, he came to this team and learned a whole new offense, came with a bad rap. Everybody that was anybody said he was the worst quarterback in the SEC, maybe one of the worst portal pickups of the year, blah, blah, blah. You know, y'all know what all got said. And he proved everybody wrong. I don't care if you think that Graham Mertz is a good quarterback, great quarterback, average quarterback. The young man put up a phenomenal season, 2,900 yards passing. I said at the beginning of the season, if Graham Mertz had 2,700 yards passing and 24 touchdowns against 12 interceptions, I would be excited for that season. And he did well better than that. I mean, he only had about 20 touchdown passes, but only against 3 interceptions. All of those tipped balls. The last one in the Missouri game was his fault. He threw a high ball and it got tipped. I mean, but he didn't throw one interception just into a bad coverage. He was very protective of the ball, maybe too much at times, but hey, I'd rather him that than, be reckless with it. He knows what he is. He knows what his skill set is. Was very, very, I'm very thankful and very happy for the season that Graham Mertz gave us under the circumstances. And hopefully he comes back and gives us even better one next year, and we move on from there. Wes, I'm going to go to you next, man. What are some things you're thankful for about this team this season?
You kind of stole some of the things that I was going to say.
No, hit back up on them. Keep it rolling. Yeah. It's okay.
It's Graham Mertz, and he exceeded expectations for me and a lot of Gator Nation. I'm not going to say I eat crow because the guy came out highly touted, and we knew, what he came out as ranked as far as coming out of high school. And we knew the talent that he had in Wisconsin. The offense, there was a lot of talk about Billy Napier speaking to his old head coach and him saying, hey, we didn't put that kid in a position to do well to succeed. So a lot of his mistakes were on us. So I'm grateful for the kid, the way he wore the Gator uniform, the way he went out. I mean, this is not his last game, and I'll get into that in a second. But the way he went out trying to get that first down is an epitome of his whole year. In 2018, CJ fans, you went 10-2, I believe, 10-2, 11-2. I can't remember with Felipe Franks. He's better if you put him on that Felipe Franks team. We may beat Georgia and LSU that year. I think we lost to Georgia and LSU, if I'm not mistaken. There's a chance we win one of those games. That with the defense that was at that point in time, and the offensive skill players with Van Jefferson and Grimes and Pitts and those guys out there, and I think we had Jordan Scarlett in the backfield with Michael Pirine. If we with the offensive line, basically is what I'm saying, with the offensive line with Richard Garage and those boys, we couldn't keep the kids safe. And to me, that's the thing that kind of was his season. We kept looking at, is he gonna get back up? Is he gonna be okay? Because he kept getting knocked down. And the most thankful thing that I'm grateful for is that he's coming back next year. I spoke about it on this podcast for weeks on end on the fact that the kid is a film junkie from everything that me, CJ, and Hirsch have heard. The kid is the last one to leave the facility, the first one in. He loves to look at it. And we have a highly touted 5-star quarterback coming in. Who better to learn from? None of us want DJ Lagway on the field starting week 1, even if Mertz leaves. We would want another transfer quarterback to come in. We don't want him starting, but he's the perfect tutelage guy. Like, we talk about these bridge guys sometimes that come in like a 5th-year starter, a 5th-year senior, some guy you may draft that's a 3-star, not draft, that you may recruit that's a 3-star, that you bring in that may be a program guy that never transferred. No, this is where his ceiling is as far as the guy that may be playing in front of him, but gets his chance. That's Mertz in this sense. And to have him to be able to tutelage and teach and show Mertz the way of the college football arena, I'm thankful that he's going to be coming back and teach a guy that that we all in Gator Nation believe that's going to lead us to the promised land and out of this depth and darkness that we've been in for the last decade or so. We would not, and I know this before I go to you and CJ. in a few years, and DJ will probably speak this in New York when he wins his Heisman. He will
Oh.
say how important Graham Mertz was. Hey, I got to. He was talking about how great Graham Mertz was his freshman year, as far as showing him the ropes and showing him how to be not a pro, but a college football athlete. I'm speaking that.
All right. Well, damn, that's some prophetic
Hype man West, man.
dialogue
I'm
right
still
there.
here.
The hype
Hype man.
man West.
Yeah.
CJ, I know that's a tough act to follow. What do you got to say?
As far as giving thanks for, how about the emergence of Eugene Wilson, of a guy that has just given this offense
Now you're
and this
stealing my
team
thunder
a spark.
because
I
y'all
mean,
know
he's a.
before the season,
I'll tell you what. I'll let you have
Trey was
Eugene,
no.
and
You finish. You say what you got because I just want to say that before the season, I was the band leader for the Trey Wilson hype machine, and yeah, that young man. Thank you. Thank you to his parents for having him. Thank you to his coaches in high school for developing. But yes, please finish your
yeah,
thought.
yeah. We've looked like a different offense on the field since he's been. I mean, you look at the Tennessee game, and then the time you missed, and then you get him back, and it's like, wow, oh my God, look at this guy. But no, it's just great to have a guy like that again. Florida's known for having guys like that, and we were missing that guy for a little while. So it's great to have that back on the team. Um, but no, Ricky Pearsall
Yes.
has come in and become a legend among Gator Nation. He's going to be a guy that we look back on years down the road, as a guy that was not recruited here. He entered the transfer. He's a transfer from Arizona State, and has come in and completely embraced us. We've embraced him, and just absolutely what a game, what a player, what a game breaker, what a guy that, just a solid presence, at the wide receiver spot. Great player, great leader, a guy that's always dependable. We talked about Graham Mertz. A lot of people didn't like Graham Mertz, weren't happy to get Graham Mertz, and I think everybody's kind of changed their tone. At least I would hope so. Um, a guy to go out like that, just absolutely, and we've seen it a few times this year where he just puts his life on the line for Florida, and we appreciate that because that's how we all feel. Um, and he came in and he didn't complain. You didn't see Graham Mertz get upset. You don't see Graham Mertz run to Twitter. You don't see Graham Mertz say anything about his haters or his doubters or anything like that. As far as you know, Graham Mertz doesn't know those people exist. And I'm sure he heard it, but it wasn't ever something he put out there. It was never anything where he said, I've had a lot of people doubt me. He doesn't say it. He just goes and does his thing. I think Graham is a good enough and a smart enough kid to understand that a lot of the criticism he garnered early was probably a lot of that was his fault. And I think he was man enough, to look at that and say, okay, I'm going to work harder than anybody's ever worked, and I'm going to be a player that people are proud to have. And I think everybody in Gator Nation is extremely proud of Graham Mertz. Um, Defensively, there's guys, Cameron Jackson come to mind, as a guy, Shamar James before he got hurt. You're thankful for those guys. A lot of the freshmen have been playing their tails off. Getting more time than I think anybody. And I think, as bad as we felt last week, um, I think we can look at it and be thankful that I think honestly there are brighter days ahead for this team. I think there are brighter days ahead for this program. That's the hope. I think that's the way you have to look at it. Um, you know, I don't know when we'll get back to where we want to be. I don't think any of us do, but there are some bright spots. There are some guys, that have shown me that there are things going in the right direction still. Um, as as much as we get upset and frustrated with other things, there are guys who believe in this. Um, a guy doesn't go head first into four defensive players, break his collarbone because he doesn't believe the head coach knows what he's doing. Um, you don't take those chances. So I think that we need to stay the course. I'm still thankful right now that Billy Napier is our head coach. As unpopular of an opinion as that's going to be, that's still mine. I think the guy is doing as good as I could hope right now. I mean, it's not great. Things aren't perfect. But right now, today, I'm still happy he's our head coach.
Amen. I got a couple of guys, and Wes might want to come back around after he hears who I don't talk about, because I know he's probably in the back of his mind. There's more guys he's thankful for. I know a couple. One, Trey Smack. Hey, man. I am thankful that we have a kicker with a big leg that's accurate at a high accuracy rate. My God, thank you, Trey Smack, for your emergence this season. At least that's one less thing to worry about going into next year. CJ, you talk about Ricky Pearsall. How sick does Arizona State fans have to be knowing that just a couple of years ago they had Jaden Daniels, Ricky Pearsall, and Johnny Wilson all on their offensive side of the football.
and Brandon Ayuk.
And Brandon Ayuk the season before, yeah. Woo! But yes, Ricky's going to go down with so many great Gator wide receivers.
Before hers, what what his yards at? Because I wanted him to get 1,000. I don't know if he might get it
He's
now.
about
right
50
at the
yards,
950.
50 yards away.
He needs like 48 yards or something like that to get there, or 56. It's right at the 50-yard mark.
I hope we can get him there. I know.
But hey, man, there's a reason he got up and sent Max Brown the text that said one is always open. He wants those 50 yards. You can bet on it. There's no receiver worth their salt that gets this close to the 1,000-yard mark and doesn't want to eclipse it. Especially, somebody has said, the Gators haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver since Taylor Jacobs did it 800 years ago. I mean, like, it's wild to think about that, but it has, we haven't. So that would be a big monumental kind of achievement for Ricky. And a couple other guys, Jake Slaughter. Very thankful for Jake Slaughter's emergence this year with Kingsley being in and out so many times. And then even when Kingsley does play, he'll go down and Jake comes right in. And at first we were very, oh God, this guy's not great, but he has emerged. So thankful for him. Hayden Hanson, another guy I want to tell you I'm thankful for. A young tight end that we didn't even think probably would play this season at the beginning of the year, talking about Boardingham, all the hype that was around him, and obviously Odom, and then Zip got hurt, and I'm forgetting the other one because he hadn't even played this year, the one that used to be a defensive guy. Man, my dang mind has slipped. See, nobody remember.
Xanders?
Yeah.
We didn't
even.
I didn't know if you were talking about him or Savannah.
Yeah, I can't. Xanders. We thought Xanders was going to be starting tight end this season. But Hayden Hanson has come on, and if you watch him play each week, he has gotten better. His blocking better. His receiving better. His run after the catch had a great play against Missouri. I mean, people aren't thinking about him catching the ball. So very thankful for that young man and his emergence after probably not expecting to play near as much as he's played this year. Defensively, and I don't want to go too deep into this, but Kelby Collins and TJ Searcy, tremendously thankful for those two freshmen and the amount. If I'd have told you, and this isn't a bragging point, it's actually kind of sad, but if I'd have told you at the beginning of the year, hey, Princely's going to lead the team in sacks, y'all would have probably been like, well, that makes sense. I mean, but Kelby Collins is going to be second. Now, granted, he's only doing that with like 3 sacks. So that's something that obviously we're not very thankful for. That needs some more, but that's not what we're here for. But he's played very well in his opportunities, and you've seen him progressively get better. The same with TJ Searcy. He's made some mistakes, but you've also seen him flash what is, once he puts on some more weight and some good weight, some strength and whatnot as he's, gets into year two. Those are two guys that I think are going to be tremendously counted on next season. Wes, anybody else that you're thankful for before
Yeah,
we
I'm
move
gonna
on?
go. Yeah, I'm gonna hit two guys right quick, and
One better
um,
be a safety, or I'm going to be mad that you didn't
yeah,
say something.
I'm gonna start with the corner first. We've I don't know. It's been years since Chauncey left that we didn't have a guy that could play that nickel star position, whatever you want to call it. Jaden Hill has been excellent at playing that star position. Uh, it was good to see. We tried guys in and out, and it just didn't hadn't work. And even and I think I like what Armstrong does. He blitzes him a lot sometimes. A couple times he's kind of missed some tackles there. It's not his strong shoe as tackle. He's not big enough to be in there sometimes. He made a cut tackle on that elite back of Missouri had last week. That when he came down and blitzed on a run blitz. But he's been solid in coverage. He's been everything we could ask for. He's been a guy that got
He
on guys.
gives tremendous effort.
He loves the university. He's in the line of grammars. I think he was one of the leaders. I think he spoke out against some guys last year that got one in the portal. He's one of those guys that you wish could play a couple more years. I wish he had gotten hurt because I don't think he's the same guy he was when he got here after he tore his knee. But he played a hell of a role in that slot this year. And I'm gonna give my boy, even though it's some things I want to see him work on, and this is true freshman year. I'm gonna give my boy Castell. Y'all know I loved him. I talked about him. I know some things that I want to see him do better because I have a high standard for him. After seeing him early in the year, to me, I thought he would come in next year as one of those preseason All American. I mean, first team SEC, not All American as far as the country, but in SEC first team. I think he can still get there. Hirsch and CJ have gotten on me about. He's hit that wall, and maybe he has. He's leading the team in tackles since Shamar's went down. He was close behind Shamar even when he was here. But I love that kid. I think he has a lot of potential and a lot of growth. And he's one too that I believe loves the University of Florida, and I believe he's going to take on. He has that personality to me that's going to make our defense better because he's going to start as a freshman. It's kind of hard to do that. You don't really see a lot of guys do that. But as far as we saw the Swamp Kings where Brandon Spikes had to start taking more. Uh, um, Tim Tebow would start taking more as far as speaking to people. Spikes talked about how hard it was for him to do that and become that guy as a early on in his career. But then he got it as a junior year. So I think Castell, his personality, what I've seen on social media when he wanted to be recruited, how much he loves University of Florida, will be that guy that will communicate things well in the secondary to get our secondary to where they need to be with these young guys because he's going to be the elder statesman. Because we feel like a lot of young guys are going to end up playing because what we see the guys that are out there now. So he's going to have to be that, hey, I need you here, the communicator back there in the back end. And that's going to come with experience and maturity. So I love Castell, what he did this year. He made some mistakes, but he's a true freshman playing in the SEC. And I just love his potential and where he's going to be.
Yeah, you nailed it, man. There is going to be that secondary next year. I got a feeling is going to be a youth movement. Jalen Kimber is walking for senior day, so that tells me he's probably out the door. So is Jadon Hill. Um, and opinions vary on Jason Marshall, but I know as of right now, I don't think anybody's going to be terribly upset if Jason Marshall either declares for something or decides to that maybe that Gainesville is not the place he wants to be. And maybe he doesn't. Maybe they decide, hey, you just need one more year to clear your head with some different guys around you, whatever. But I have a feeling that one way or another, I think we see that whole room pretty much clean out and the young guys take over. Bryce Thornton's got a lot of snaps this year. Jakeem Jackson obviously is the next guy. We know that. We've seen him play. We've seen him make some mistakes, but then we've seen him make some really good plays for a freshman. He's one of those guys that, he needs to put on a little weight and, so he can physically take on some of these SEC wide receivers where you see him maybe get stiff-armed off and he can't recover because he's not quite where he needs to be physically yet. But that's being a true freshman in the SEC. Like, so I mean, and then you're going to see, Dejon Johnson and Gates and all these kids next year. A lot of these kids have played some snaps this year, and they're going to be better for it next year. They're going to know what to be, what to be. They're going to be prepared for what they've seen. And that comes with Castell as well. Castell was the most physically ready, but even him, and Wes said it, we've mentioned over and over again that we think he hit the wall. And the reason I think he's hit the wall is he didn't just get worse as a player as the year went on. He's missing some tackles that earlier in the season he was making. He's taken some – he just looks tired. He looks worn down, like he just can't physically hold up anymore. And that's what I think, is that he's just physically worn out.
And I'll say this to you guys' credit. I remember watching Marcus May. Our last two safety was Marcus May and Keanu Neal. Those guys were elite tandem together. They struggled early on. And by the time they're sophomore, junior, well, their junior year, really, I think Keanu left and Marcus came back for his fourth year. But they were dynamic. What we was like, they were elite. It wasn't that they were just elite playing beside each other, and that takes time. And sometimes playing early, because I remember games against Alabama. I know Keanu Neal. I think his freshman year we went down there and he had a great tackle, but they got burnt a lot. Marcus May and Keanu Neal against Alabama and LSU in some of those games where we looked like, is that a 5-star? Is Keanu Neal really? Marcus May really a 5-star? Is Brian Poole really that guy? And then by the time you saw those guys as junior,
it takes some time, man. Especially, and I'm not trying to put anyone down because that's not what this episode is about. But if you don't have a lot of faith in the guy next to you to do his job, it makes your job a lot harder. So if you're the other safety and you've got a kill shot on a wide receiver and you get bounced, your partner at safety is like, man, I got to be ready all the time because this joker ain't getting it done. Hey, the corner on this side, he's about to get beat, so I got to make sure I got over the top. It's a lot to wear on, especially on an 18-year-old kid who's hadn't been on campus a year. Like, but once again, that's one of those situations that next year we will be thankful that these young men got these minutes this year because they will be better for it. All right, guys, that's what we're thankful for. But we're going to talk right quick, and we're going to make this a real quick kind of thing about what we expect out of this game Saturday night. And I don't know what to expect, to be very honest with you. How could you? You don't know really what you're getting in Max Brown. You saw some really good flashes the other night. And then you saw the dynamic that he brings to Billy's offense and why Billy wants a DJ Lagway in his system. And I think that got people more excited than anything. They're not excited about necessarily about what Max Brown did, but they're like, wait till DJ gets here and he gets these kinds of plays, because what he brings to the table, or what he should bring to the table. We've seen it all year long in his highlights. Guys, I'll start with you. What do you expect? And give me a score prediction for Saturday night.
I think we saw it a lot. The offensive line played a little better towards the end of the game, and I think that has a lot to do with the threat that Max Brown does give you running the football. Because when it's Graham, Graham isn't a runner. We did some things with his legs, but they're not drawing up RPOs for Graham to take the ball and run. The defense was always just pin their ears back or coming after the backfield because they're either handing it to the back or Graham Mertz is dropping back and we're going to get back there and hit him. So as an offensive line, your offensive line is always backing up. Now with Max Brown, on the other hand, when he's running these read options, you've got a chance your offensive line can plant and they could set their feet because you've got a hesitation now with the defensive line because they've got to watch the ball. They got to know who's getting it. They can't just attack. They can't just blow up the backfield because that's how you get beat with the read options. Somebody hands it to the other guy. Whoop, you're watching his numbers get smaller as he runs down the sideline. And I think that helps the offensive line when you add a run threat as a quarterback because of that. Especially against, you got a team like Florida State. And I know we don't like Florida State. I don't like Florida State. But Kalen DeLoach is a solid player. Jared Verse is a good player. They've got some guys on that defense that are solid players. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh yeah, there were just you know, you know, it makes it changes things a little bit because I was worried about how Graham Mertz is going to deal with a pass rush from a talented FSU front that they built with Braden Fisk and those other guys, solid players that they've gotten out of the portal. They built their team that way. They've done a good job with it. So now you've changed things a little bit. You've given the FSU another thing to scheme for.
On
Obviously,
short notice.
they know what a read option looks like. They played against it. They have to scheme against it themselves because Jordan Travis is the kind of guy who can run those. So it's not something completely unfamiliar to them. They've played teams that run it, but they haven't played Florida that runs it. When you're expecting all year, we're going to have Graham Mertz. He's going to sit in the pocket, try to throw. We can pin our ears back, try to get after him, make him uncomfortable. Now you've changed it to, okay, they've got Max Brown. He can run. Don't let Max Brown fool you for a second, though. He's got a lot of great passing numbers he put up in high school. We've seen some highlights from early on in spring ball that Max Brown could do some stuff throwing the football. I don't, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think Max Brown is going to be the future quarterback for Florida going down the road because I don't think so. I think Graham comes back next year and Graham's still the quarterback. But Max Brown at least gives you something different to look at. It helps ETN. It helps Montrell Johnson be able to get opened up in the run lanes a little more because they're having to watch for the quarterback too. So it gives you a few other things to look at with Eugene Wilson and Ricky Pearsall. Now with the jet sweeps, you brought in a jet sweep option that you can run now because of before that it's obvious it's a pop pass or a jet sweep to one of the wide receivers in orbit because Mertz isn't gonna tuck it and run a draw. He's not doing that. That's just not what he does. Now you have to watch for that. So it gives them different things to look at. Now, I will say this. A lot of people are kind of down on Tate Rodmaker. I watched Tate play in high school a lot. He's just right up the road in Valdosta. Saw him play a ton. I know his dad, Alan Rodmaker, is a great coach. They've been around the area. They're kind of, people that here when you talk about high school football. So I'm not going to down Tate. I think Tate is a good player. Tate obviously is never going to be the starting, quarterback or the all conference player or anything like that for Florida State because he's been there this long and he hasn't done it up to this point. That's just not who he is. But he does have a lot more game time under his belt. He's been there longer. He's been in the system since 2020. So, you're going on 4 years of playing football for Florida State, all under Mike Norvell. So he's had consistent coaching. So I think Tate knows what he's doing. He's got great wide receivers and a great tight end to lean on. Some really talented guys with Coleman and Johnny Wilson and Jaheim Bell and Hakeem Williams, good players that Florida State has. So he's got guys to lean on. The Florida State offensive line has played well, but I will say this. I think that they've kind of tricked us into believing they're a little better than we think they are. Or they're not as good as we think they are because of similar things to what we looked at last year with Anthony Richardson. When you have a guy like that dynamic, like Jordan Travis, it makes your offensive line look a lot better because he can move, he can get outside the pocket and throw. There's a lot of play action bootleg stuff that they would do with Jordan Travis where he's rolling to the left or he's rolling to the right and throwing. So he's never really standing in the pocket. I've seen a lot of times where the offensive line gets blown up and Jordan Travis is able to escape and get out of there so there's no sack counted against him. So we don't really talk about it. But I think Tate Rodemaker, I'm not saying he's a statue, but he's obviously not Jordan Travis. So you're changing things up again. We've got pass rushers. Princely, as much grief as we've given Princely, Princely's a solid pass rusher. He's got a high win rate. Can't even talk. He's got a high win rate in the pass rushes. I think he's like second or third in the country. So he does a good job at what he does off the tackle spot, running the defensive end. So you've got that to look forward to. You're going to have to play that way. You're going to have to get pressure, and that's the only way you're going to beat him. If you can't pressure Rodemaker, if Rodemaker can sit and throw and no pressure with the wide receiver talent that Florida State has, with the lack of talent we have at the defensive back position, it could turn ugly. You don't want to do that. I don't think we will. I think the crowd being into it's going to factor. I think I think we're going to be able to get some pass rush on him. I think that we're going to be, juiced up. It's last game of the year. We're going to look at guys doing things that we haven't seen them do this year, kind of like what we looked at when we played Missouri last week. We saw guys doing things that we hadn't seen all year. That they played, better in certain spots than I think we expected. That being said, though, I expect Florida State to probably win this game 34-30. I think there's going to be points put up on both sides. I think that's just the nature of the beast this year. But I think that Florida State is probably going to win this game, just because I'd feel a lot better if we had Graham Mertz. I will say that. But Max, I'm not down in Max, but you just when you have a guy like Mertz who's a veteran quarterback, he knows how to deal with things like this. He's been the guy that the offense has run with. All the wide receivers have a rapport with him. Their timing issues aren't going to be there as much as they are with a guy like Max Brown, who hasn't thrown to them in game situations like Graham Mertz. So, I mean, I wouldn't be. I think this game could go either way. I think that we could definitely win, but right now, I think Florida State wins.
All right, Wes, follow that up.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close ball game. I think we get a couple turnovers. That's something I've been harping for the defense to get more of. I think we get a couple sack fumbles. CJ was kind of alluded to it in his. I think we get a couple sack fumbles. I think Princely, Cersei, Collins, and the boys show up and get a couple sack fumbles. I think we blitz more. He does have some experience. It's kind of like we switch quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Like Max Brown is more of a runner, like Florida State's quarterback that's out. Can't remember his name for some reason. I think talking about, but
Travis.
that Travis and Mertz is more like the quarterback from Florida State now that's coming in. So kind of switch quarterbacks and what they can do. I think this will help Montreal. I think having him will help. We saw Montreal do really, really, really well with AR in the backfield last year. As far as trying to bounce some of those plays outside that I really hate when he does it. But I think that this will help Montreal and as far as ETN as well in the run game. I need to see Max Brown get 75 yards this game. If he gets 75 yards rushing or more, I think we have a good chance of winning. I need him to slide and get his ass on the ground, though. Don't need him getting injured. But I think if he gets 75 plus, I need him getting 75 yards. I think if he does that, we have a great chance of winning this game. I think it'll be a lot of one to maybe one side reads, like Mertz. Even the first touchdown pass he hit Trey Wilson on the first drive against Missouri, he was able to go. He's not at Mertz. Mertz with 1, 2. Oh, that's Trey. 3, and he hit Trey on that touchdown pass. I don't see Max Brown doing that. I see 1, 2, and maybe he should shoot up the field and try to get as much as he can. I don't want him sitting back there trying to read with our offensive line. CJ alluded to Florida State's D line. I don't think Florida State is good. I think their best win maybe Duke this year. They should have lost at Clemson. If you want to call it Clemson as their biggest win, I don't see Florida State as this formidable foe. We had Graham Mertz, I guarantee you that we probably win this game, even though I skipped with the backup quarterback. But our defense just scares the living daylights out of me. I don't know, even with a backup quarterback, what to expect from those guys on defense, especially with linebackers out. Hopefully, Scooby can play this week. Hopefully, we can blitz and put pressure on the quarterback. And hopefully, our corners can go up against Wilson or drop balls. Coleman is the one that scares me. Wilson seems like he makes the tough catches but drops the easy stuff. I don't know. The player that scares me the most on their offense, which I think they don't do a lot of, which is kind of like we went back to talking about Damian Pierce earlier, is the fact that they don't give Vincent the ball. Like Vincent is a freaking monster. I'm like, that dude is a guy. And if he gets over 100 some yards, they're gonna win. They should rush him 20 times a game. They don't for some reason. They get 2 or 4 or whatever his name, some touches. I think that's his name. I don't mean to say whatever his name is, but 2 or 4. They give him touches.
But yes,
Feely. But Benson is that dude. It should be like 25-10, not even carries when it comes to those. Benson, like, he runs hard, he breaks tackles. Like, he's everything you want, but for some reason, he gets like 11, 12 carries a game. Sometimes I don't think he gets like 15 to 17 to 20. But if they feed him like they may do because they have a backup quarterback in, we may be in some trouble. But Benson scares me. He breaks a lot of tackles, and he's like APTN after contact. But I leave that's all I have first. But I think we can win. We have to stop Benson. We have to focus on Benson.
Uh-oh. Losing you. We lost Wes.
We lost Wes.
We lost Wes. He'll be back in a minute. Got to get his score prediction. In the words of the great Dan Fouts, last game of the season, Brent, can't hold anything back.
Can't hold anything back now.
I really hope Billy takes the I don't know what the right term here is. Let Max just go out there and do his thing.
Right.
I mean, at this point, look, I don't want to say there's nothing really to play for because there is. And you're playing in front of recruits. You're playing for bowl eligibility. But most importantly to me, you're playing to beat your damn rival and spoil their opportunity to possibly go to the playoff. I think that's your most important message to send in the locker room. Don't worry about going to a bowl game because it's going to be some meaningless bowl game anyway. You don't worry about the extra practices. Don't worry about any of that. Go out there and play in front of your home crowd for the last game of the season. Some of you are last game in the uniform against your rival.
Some of you will be the last game playing football ever.
Yes, exactly. And give it everything you got, whether you're leaving, maybe you're transferring, you're going pro, you're going whatever you're going home. I mean, whatever it may be. But go out there to this game and beat them guys in your last opportunity and wreck their season. Because I hate to ever put the term on it, hey, this is our Super Bowl, but this game kind of is our Super Bowl.
God, I wish we treated a game like our Super Bowl.
I mean, if we're really going to be honest, if we want to talk about it, this game kind of is our Super Bowl for the year because you don't have anything else really. You're not playing for any kind of championships. You're not playing to go to a bowl that's worth a crap, even if you get to one, which there is a chance that you could even go to a bowl if you lose this game because they revealed this week that not enough teams are eligible with 6 wins that they may have to ask teams that are 5 and 7 or whatever. And we'll tackle that, when it comes, if we have to. But yes, tell your guys, go out there, play loose, play at home. You've got the crowd on your side. You've got everything on your side. Max Brown. I don't know what Max Brown's future holds. This could be Max Brown might treat this game like, hey, I'm auditioning for every other team in the country to go be their quarterback next year. He knows Graham's probably coming back. He knows DJ Lagway's coming in and not to sit behind Max Brown. I mean, you can say all day long, well, Max might just be a competitor and maybe that's true. I don't know Max like that. But if I'm Max Brown and I'm serious about playing football for a future, I'm probably not wanting to stay at the University of Florida. So I'm going out and going, you know what? I'm about to put my audition on tape. You're going to see what I bring to the table. Some team, a Division I, whatever it may be. But I'm about to go put the best game of my life on tape. It takes more though. I mean, the defense has got to do their thing, and I'm with Wes. I believe Benson. If we can sell out to stop Benson in the run game, I think we can do the thing on as far as stopping their receivers. But I mean, hey, you got to do it and show it. And has this team done this in any game besides Tennessee? No. So, but hey, it's a very similar circumstance, except we're just missing a few more players, obviously, than when we played Tennessee. My score prediction. Oh man, I hate it. I'm nervous, guys. I'm nervous. I think this could be an ugly game. And then, like CJ said, it could be a game where a lot of points are scored. But I'm going to go right now, and I'm calling it. I don't usually do the hype man kind of thing. But I'm going 33-30. Gators win on a Trey Smack field goal. and the defense hangs on to win the ball game. All right, well, Wes isn't here, man. Right now, we need him to get back in here because this is the last week of the Pick Ems. And man, CJ has opened up a 2-game lead here.
Oh my gosh.
CJ went 7-3 last week. I went 6-4. Wes went 5-5 to kind of bury Wes's chances on the season. CJ goes to 86-34 on the year. Hirsch is 84-36. Wes is 81-39, coming up trailing in the back. It is what it is for you, Wes. It's Wes takes game. If Wes could have all his UGA picks back, we'd be talking about something here. But all right. Well, CJ, I guess we're just gonna start it with me and you, and then Wes will have to mail in his pick. But like you said, it's kind of between me and you anyway right now. So we're gonna do what we gotta do. All right. This week slate of games ain't real good, even though it's rivalry week. It's just not a whole lot of good rivalries playing this week. I threw some curveballs in here though for us this week. All right, first game, Kentucky at Louisville. Louisville barely hanging on to beat Miami last week, and Kentucky going down to South Carolina. Good God.
Yeah, I didn't have that one happening. Give me Louisville. I feel like Louisville has a lot more to play for right now than Kentucky. Louisville's at times looked like a very good football team. I like Jack Plummer. So I'll take the Cards as they get ready to play Florida State.
Man, I tell you right now, all day long I've been looking at this, and I want to pick Kentucky. I want to say, Kentucky's going to out-physical them. Kentucky, but it's at Louisville, and you got beat by South Carolina, and you scored 14 points. I just can't bring myself to do it, man. I really wanted to maybe pick up a game there because I knew CJ was going to pick Louisville, but I can't do it. I just can't bring myself to do it. Give me Louisville as well. All right, the Iron Bowl, baby. Alabama at Auburn. Any contest here?
No. God Almighty, Auburn got mollywopped by New Mexico State.
That can't be. I heard Auburn was improving every single week.
Somebody told me Auburn was good, and they don't understand how Billy's struggling if Auburn looks so good. And I was like, are we watching the same Auburn? Or they must be watching Auburn's equestrian team.
Auburn, I was told Auburn gets better every single week, and they're going to be
Auburn's got a hole to dig out. Auburn and us are like hand in hand. We're like cousins at this point. We've been doing the same thing every year. But yeah, I'll take Alabama. It's not going to be close. Alabama's got a lot to play for. They're not slowing down.
Yeah, Bama, me too. That's only on there because all the other games were so bad, to be very honest with you. All right, Miami travels up to Boston College. This could be a tricky game here for old Miami. Who you got?
Yeah, man. I wanted. This should be easy. I should be able to just say Miami, but damn it. Florida State struggled with Boston College at home. Boston College still isn't a very good team. Damn it, Mario. I'll take Miami. Just beat these guys. Don't let them the ghost of Doug Flutie come back to haunt you at this point.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I think they're mentally whipped. I'm taking BC at home.
I can't blame you. I can't. It's just hard. That's a hard.
This is the kind of game that Miami will drop. They'll play tough against Louisville. They'll play tough against Florida State. But because they lost both those games, they'll go up there and play like complete ass in this game because they'll have their ass on their shoulders.
Yeah.
All right. University of Texas San Antonio at Tulane. Tulane 11-1. UTSA 8-3 on the season. Ooh, and rumors abound that that Platt's going to be transferring after the game.
Yeah, there's also rumors around that UTSA's head coach might be transferring after the game. Give me Tulane in this one. I think I'll take Tulane, and Coach Fritz.
Yeah, I think Tulane cruises in this one. So I'm going to take Tulane as well, as they go probably to 12-1 on the season.
And you get ready for their rematch with the Pac-12 team.
All right, there's a big rivalry with Georgia teams this week, but I'm not picking the one. We're not taking the one that you think we're going to take, because to me that's not a ball game. But if you know anything about small-time college football, Georgia Southern and App State is a huge rivalry. I live just a few miles from Statesboro, where Georgia Southern is, and man, Georgia Southern and App State hate each other. And this is just a good game year in and year out. So Georgia Southern travels to Boone, North Carolina to take on App State. App State fresh off the upset of James Madison. CJ, who are we going to take?
It's hard to win in Boone. I'm going to take App State. I want to take Georgia Southern, but I'll take App State at home.
Southern has been floundering.
Yeah.
I thought Helton had them in prime position over there, but something has not clicked in the last month.
Yeah.
But what you said, if you ever get a chance, this is a segue kind of thing. If you ever get a chance to go to Boone, North Carolina, where Appalachian State's campus is, make that trip. There is no more beautiful campus in the world to me than the campus of Appalachian State at Boone.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Give me Appalachian State, and it kills me because I love Southern.
Right. I love Southern too. I've got cousins at Southern. My uncle went to Southern.
Like I said, I live right down the road, so I could go to every Southern game they play at home anytime. It's easy for me to get tickets to go watch Southern play. My grandfather was head of boosters for Irk Russell his last 2 years at Georgia Southern. I have a national championship ring with my name on it from there. But damn it. This ain't Irk's Eagles. All right. Oregon State travels to Oregon. The Bo Nix for Heisman show is starting to wind down. We think Oregon probably takes this one pretty easily.
Yeah, they're not playing in Corvallis, so give me Oregon. If they play in Corvallis, it's a different animal. That place is just something. This would be the last ever meeting between, yearly between Oregon and Oregon State.
Yeah,
they haven't re-signed.
That sucks.
This will end the Civil War. So yeah, give me Oregon.
All right, Texas A&M at LSU. The hey, Jimbo used to coach here bowl.
Oh God. It's LSU. I mean, you're playing a team without a coach. LSU is really good.
A team without a coach and a team that it sounds like a whole bunch of people are about to jump ship off of.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how many of those kids' heads are going to be into this game, or they're going to be like,
yeah, I think Evan Stewart isn't traveling with the team.
Yeah, that's huge. That alone is like somebody's about to pay top dollar for Evan Stewart. You can believe that.
You might be saying Roll Tide soon.
Roll Tide or
Hook 'em horns,
or you go to USC. I'm sure. I don't know unless he moves on over there. Yeah, I could see him going to Texas for sure. All right, let's hit Tobacco Road, man, for an ACC matchup. UNC travels to NC State.
This is a tough one again. UNC what are they doing? They are skid marks in the bottom of the drawers at this point. I don't know what they're doing.
And how involved, how checked out is Drake May at this point?
How checked out is the whole team at this point? Drake May is looking at the NFL. NC State, but NC State isn't great either.
8-3 on the season. I was actually surprised by that.
They've got a good defense. And North Carolina State does not. North Carolina doesn't have a good defense. North Carolina State does. I'll take the Wolfpack in this one. Wolfpack is back, causing mass destruction. So we'll go with them. Yeah.
I damn near expected Kevin Nash to come onto the podcast after that. You know what, though? I need a win, man. So I'm going to go Tar Heels.
You go either way, man. Flip the coin at that point with me.
Mac Brown. This could be Mac Brown's last hurrah, man, after this kind of finish. All right. I was hoping Wes would at least be here for this pick. Clemson at South Carolina. South Carolina off a pretty good moral victory against Kentucky. Clemson has really rebounded strong here the last few weeks, though.
Yeah, Clemson looks a lot better than they have, but they're playing in Williams-Brice.
But it ain't Cocktober now.
It ain't Cocktober. It's Cockvember.
It's no nut November.
Yeah, that's it. Man, this is another one that I'm just tough because I mean, you look at Cade Klubnik, he has not played in any environment like Williams-Brice up to this point. That place is going to be rocking. They can put points on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Give me South Carolina.
Ooh.
I'll take the Gamecocks. I think they upset Clemson.
I think Clemson plays just a little too much defense for South Carolina. That was my pick already beforehand, as I had it already written down that I wanted Clemson just because I believe defensively, I don't believe South Carolina can score as many points as they'll need to. And we know they can, South Carolina's going to give up some points. So
Right.
We'll see. All right, the big one. Another one of those, hey, we're giving away all the money at 12 o'clock in the damn
Knock the crust out of your eyes. It's our game of the week.
Yeah. Oh, my God. What are they doing out there? How is this not an 8 o'clock game? I just don't understand it at all. Ohio State at Michigan. CJ, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's another one. It's no Jim Harbaugh. Ryan Day rumors to Texas A&M are heating up for some reason. I don't know if there's any merit to that. That's kind of fun.
I can't see that.
I can't either. But I mean, A&M throw around some pretty big money.
Ohio State fans turn on you fast. It's about as fast as Florida fans do.
After what I watched from Michigan, J.J. McCarthy has not been playing very well. Give me Ohio State. I'll take the Buckeyes. I think they get this one back with no Jim Harbaugh on the sideline.
Well, you stole my thunder, man. I thought for sure you were going to take Michigan. I already had Ohio State written down. I'm going to stick with it because I'm a man of my predictions. I really do. I think Day really knows he needs this one.
He does.
I don't think don't get me wrong. They're not firing him if he loses this game. I mean, the man's undefeated on the season. But if you lose to Michigan 3 years in a row, people are going to start being ornery as hell towards him.
I don't even know the last coach that's done that at Ohio State.
Especially if Harbaugh is not with Harbaugh not on the sidelines. Like, then it really becomes, God, you can't even out-coach the intern coach. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But make no mistake, Jim Harbaugh is on a headset somewhere or on a phone talking to somebody.
He might be in the stands.
It's 2000. Yeah, he might be dressed up. He probably him Jarbaugh out in the
yeah, that's him.
Probably send his brother undercover.
That's right. Ravens gear on, something out there.
All right, boys, that's our picks. I don't know what happened to our man Wes. Apparently, is either his power went out or his internet went out, something. But we lost him. We'll get his picks written down, even though they don't really much matter at this point, like we said. But man, that's our show for this week, guys. We want to make sure that y'all have a great Thanksgiving. Spend great time with your family. Enjoy it and all the things that you're thankful for in your life. But we want to take a second. I'll speak for CJ and Wes on this. And we want to say how thankful we are to all of you that have supported us here at this podcast for over a year now. I know we don't generally have this. We don't have breaking, earth-shattering news. We don't have maybe all the flashy interviews that you would like in your podcast, but those of you that do listen and follow us are great, man. You're involved in our Facebook chat that we have and our Facebook group and with our Twitter page. And we can't say thank you enough to all of you guys that download the podcast every week or watch us on YouTube and leave your comments, leave your likes. We appreciate each and every one of y'all so much. We hope y'all have a great holiday. Hope it's safe. Hope you have great time with your family. Don't eat too much. CJ, anything to add to that?
No, just thank you guys so much again for supporting us. Make sure you check out our friends at Alma Mater. They've got the basketball jersey program hopping up. The Gators are playing in about an hour and a half as we're dropping this.
Yeah.
So, check out Gator basketball. Get hyped up for that. Gators look pretty good. up to this point.
They
They've lost
do
one.
look good, man. We're working on getting somebody on here to talk a little basketball here for a few weeks.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Before we can get CJ fully immersed.
It's almost time.
In
I can
baseball
taste
time,
it. I can
baby.
taste it. We're almost dead of winter. Guys will start getting ready to get out in the spring and play some baseball.
Start stretching it
I
out.
tell you what, that we'll take a time to say that I'm thankful for the Gators baseball team for making the final of the national championship of the World Series. Good on them. Good for giving us some really something really good to be happy about. Some really good play on the field.
We're going to be thankful for Jack Caglione going
that's
to
right. We're gonna be thankful
40 bombs this year.
Yeah, we're gonna be thankful for Jack Caglione when he's throwing 102 miles an hour and
hitting one 470.
Yeah, just blasting one into the softball stadium. So just thank you guys so much though, for real. Again, support our friends at Alma Mater. They do a lot to help us. They're Gator fans and the athletes as well. The NIL program. You get to rep your favorite player. Go out there and get you some. By the way, go out there and check out Graham Mertz's shop. He's not, don't sponsor me, but he's got his shop with his shirts and his hoodies and stuff. Go check his stuff out.
Yeah, man.
He broke his collarbone for you. Why don't you break 20 for him? Get him some dough,
Mertz,
man.
let's go.
Yeah, let's get Mertz so good, baby.
Baby.
Thank you guys so much again. We really appreciate you.
Yes, we do, guys. Have a great, safe holiday. Enjoy it with your family, and go Gators.
Go Gators. Hell with Florida State.